Okay, so welcome everyone. Today we're continuing our virtual orientation sessions for the School of Education graduate students. And today we have a representative, the vice president from the Graduate Student Association, who's going to let you know a little bit about all the different things that they do for our graduate students here on campus. And so, Andrew, if you'd like to just take a minute and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then you can get started sharing some information with us.
Sure, great. So thanks so much for having me, and thank you to you all for being here. As Alyssa said, my name is Andrew. I'm the vice president of the Graduate Student Association. I'm a PhD student in the philosophy department. I'm going into my fourth year. I've been involved with the GSA for about 2 years now, maybe a little bit longer, and really excited to talk to you all today about the great things that the GSA does for all graduate students and why you should get involved. So let me get started here. Can everybody see this okay? Okay, great. So this is a brief outline of my presentation. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about what the GSA is, then the part that's probably most relevant to all of you right now, what services we provide, go into a little depth about grants, printing and copying services, and graduate student organizations, which we call our GSOs. Then I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about the organizational structures, just so you get a sense for what we look like, who comprises the GSA, things like that. Then I'm going to talk about how to get involved, and really briefly give some information on upcoming events and how to connect with us, and then we'll end with a Q&A. Okay, so first, what is the GSA? We are a student-run nonprofit governing body, and we provide resources to UAlbany graduate students and graduate workers. We also advocate for all of our graduate students at the university level, at the SUNY Student Assembly, which represents all students in the SUNY system, and just generally in our community. And last, the values that are most important to us are diversity, equity, inclusion, sustainability, and academic freedom, and we promote them in a number of different ways as well. Most of the work we do is on the community level, but at the university level, but we do some work at the assembly and in our community as well. So for GSA services, by paying your GSA services fee, you get a number of perks for being involved. First, you get access to research, travel, and professional development grants. There are a number of different, I'm going to talk more about the grants in just a minute. There are professional development events and opportunities that everyone is welcome to attend to get a lot of great information from. We advocate for all of our graduate students as well, so that is a big part of what your fee goes into. Free printing and copying services. So we have an office at each campus location, all three of the campuses. The main office is on the Uptown campus. That's where a lot of our that's where all of our officers are located when we're in person. The other offices are accessible for printing and copying as well. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about printing and copying in just a minute. We also have social events. At the end of the presentation, I'll talk about the ones we have planned right now, but multiple events each semester for both professional development and for social events. We have funding and resources for graduate student organizations. I'm going to talk about more about them as well in just a bit. And we also have the GSA listserv, which we use to provide weekly updates on everything relevant to the GSA, including what we're hiring for, what we're looking for volunteers for, any upcoming events, things like that. So really lots of useful services we try to provide to all the graduate students. So and talk a little bit more about grants now. Grants are up to $650, and they're available to all GSA members who pay the fee. There are two categories of the grants. We have professional development and research. We have these deadlines for each semester. As of right now, they are October 1st and March 1st. And we have on our website, some more information is available. So feel free to go to albany.edu/GSA/grants for more details. And you can also contact our grants chair, Christy, at gsagrant@albany.edu. And all this information should be available on the website as well. And Christy is also currently looking for grant reviewers. So as you can imagine, every semester, lots of grants get submitted. It's not just the grants chair who looks at these and reviews them. We have a whole committee. And so this is a great opportunity to join the committee and increase your professional development, resume, CV building, and just really a lot to learn about grants as well. So if you're interested in this specifically, feel free to contact Christy at that same email address. Okay, so a little bit more information on the printing and copying as well. The current policy is every 2 weeks, graduate students may print up to 350 pages using GSA printers. That's really a lot of printing. The reason I'm phrasing it sort of right now is because we're taking a look at policies and seeing what's going to work with costs and whatnot. But as of right now, it's safe to say that the policy is 350 pages every 2 weeks. So it's really a lot. And hopefully you all utilize these services because they're available to all fee-paying graduate students. So very useful, and I highly recommend you take advantage. So as I said before, we have locations on each of the campuses. Uptown printing hours haven't been set yet, but in most other academic years, they're 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And in downtown health science campuses, they're accessible whenever the building is open. And I think most graduate students even have swipe access to these buildings after the buildings are closed. So you really have access all the time to printing at these locations. And so the one thing you need to do before you begin printing is that you have to register. So in order to register, you have to send an email to gsa@albany.edu, and you just include those 4 pieces of information there. So you include your name, last 5 digits of your Albany ID, which campus you want to print on, and what your expected graduation semester is. Okay, so RGSOs. Applying to be an RGSO is very simple, but basically RGSOs are they're graduate student organizations, sort of like the clubs for graduate students. RGSOs can be either departmental or non-departmental, but departmental, we're saying, I'm in the philosophy department, for example, we have a philosophy RGSO. There is an RGSO for atmospheric sciences, for example. That's another department. They have an RGSO. So any of the departments that are on campus can really feel free to easily form an RGSO. And that's one type of RGSO. Then we also have the non-departmental ones, which can really be formed for any interdepartmental or interdisciplinary academic topic, or also on any social topic, social issue. I'm going to give some examples of those later too. But basically, RGSOs are really great for everyone who gets involved. You get a number of perks being an RGSO, including funding. So you get up to $1,000 per year, which goes towards holding events and organizing social activities for your members. So lots of fun and lots of stimulating discussion as well. And it's really great that all RGSOs get access to quite a bit of money. You also get access to GSA resources. So if you do have an event, we're going to promote it for you. We offer unlimited printing and copying services for anything related to RGSO events. And we're basically, the GSA is there to help our RGSOs in any way that we can. And you also get a voting seat in the GSA Assembly with the ability to influence GSA policy. So a lot of what we talk about and decide at the GSA is determined by representatives from our RGSOs. And I'm going to discuss that a little bit later when we talk about what the structure of the GSA is like. But basically, you have the ability to set the agenda of the GSA and have a big influence in what we do. And so I already mentioned with that funding, you can hold events and organize social activities for your members. I should also mention, as a departmental RGSO, departments often allow RGSOs to send a representative to their faculty meetings, which I can say from firsthand experience, that's great. It's a way to build a relationship between your RGSO and just the graduate students broadly, and the faculty and your department broadly. And it's also just a great way, if you're the one who is the RGSO representative who goes to these faculty meetings, it's just a great way to get to know all the faculty in your department and make great connections. So highly recommend that. And it's, you know, invaluable to know what's going on in the department if the faculty will allow you to sit in on one of their meetings. Okay, so specific to the School of Education, we have 3 RGSOs, I believe, that would all fall specifically within the school. We have the Counseling Psychology RGSO, and I have the presidents listed up here too. We have the Counseling Psychology RGSO, we have the Educational Psychology and Methodology Graduate Student Organization. We also have Educational Theory and Practice. Couple of the departments in the School of Education that I'm not aware of having an RGSO right now are Educational Policy and Leadership and Literacy, Teaching and Learning. So if you're in these departments, check to make sure. I don't know 100% sure whether I don't know, for example, the Educational Theory and Practice encompasses some of these departments, but my guess is that they don't. And so perfect opportunity. If you're interested in forming an RGSO, you can form one for one of these departments if you're in there. And it's a great way to get involved for all the reasons I already gave. So there are also a number of non-departmental RGSOs, including the Graduate Students of Color Organization, the Indian Student Organization, Iranian Student Organization, Scientista, Albany Mind Studies Association. And so all these are open to all graduate students. And if you feel that it would be relevant to you, you're welcome to join any of these. Also, these may give you ideas of an RGSO that doesn't currently exist and that you want to form, and you're more than welcome to form one as well. So if you're interested in forming an RGSO, want to join an RGSO, or have any other questions, please contact me, the Vice President at gsavp@albany.edu. I'm the main one who oversees these RGSOs, and I'm happy to work with anybody to help facilitate the creation of a new RGSO, or for you to join one that already exists. Okay, so now I've talked about the services, and I've made some references to how things get done in the GSA, but I just want to run semi-briefly through what the GSA looks like and who's involved. So first and foremost, we have all the graduate students. Here at the bottom, the $25 fee per semester for all graduate students. And you are just as much of a member as anybody else, and you play a really important role in the GSA. All 3 branches that I'm going to talk about briefly right now, the legislative, executive, and judiciary, all report back to all graduate students. And this is the main group of people that we want to serve. So getting into the branches quickly, we have the legislative branch, which sets the policy for the Graduate Student Association. And the legislative branch is composed primarily of representatives from each of the RGSOs. So it's just regular graduate students who go and attend these GSA assembly meetings and make some really important decisions. You can propose policies and talk about issues that are important to you, and a lot of important decisions get made there. Skip over to the judiciary branch. It's pretty straightforward. The judiciary branch just helps resolve conflicts and interprets the governing documents of the GSA. And last, the executive branch is the biggest branch. And so we have a number of different elected officers in the executive branch, in the executive board specifically. We have the president, who's sort of like the main spokesperson and chief executive officer of the GSA. We have the vice president, me, who primarily works with the graduate student organizations, the GSOs. Treasurer primarily oversees the budget. The Equity and Inclusion Chair does what they can to promote equity and inclusion and diversity throughout the Graduate Student Association specifically, but in the university in general. Grants Chair oversees the grants. Programming Chair oversees all the social events and professional development events, things like that happen with the GSA. And we also have, between the lead senator and the university council representative, have a number of other graduate student representatives that serve on a number of committees and councils and in the university senate, a number of different governing bodies throughout the university. And again, just regular graduate students, you just apply to represent the GSA in any one of these councils or committees. And if you get the job, it really gives you great insight into the inner workings of the university. It's a great way to get involved, and you get paid to do it too. So that's roughly what happens in the executive branch. That's more the day-to-day stuff, not as much big picture policy. So how can you get involved? There are a number of ways you can get involved. We have a number of GSA events that I've already mentioned. Feel free to attend any of those events. We have an RGSO representative. You can be an RGSO representative on the GSA Assembly. If you're a member of your RGSO, you can do that. You can serve on a GSA committee. I have a little more information on that below. You can run for a position as an officer of the GSA. I just went through some of the officer positions in the previous slide. Lots of different positions you can run for. And you could also apply for one of the many jobs essential to keeping the GSA running smoothly, including office managers and assembly secretary, things like that. So lots of different positions open to all graduate students. So committees, this is what we're primarily looking for right now, looking for volunteers to serve on our various committees. So we have an RGSO committee, committees on budget, diversity, equity, and inclusion, grants, programming, which all sort of self-explanatory. Elections I haven't mentioned, but basically running the elections for the GSA, wages and benefits, dealing primarily with issues related to graduate student employment at the university and professional development. Also looking for ways to improve professional development, provide professional development opportunities to all of our members. And if you get involved in any of these committees, not only I think are they a great way to get involved and they're really fulfilling, but they're just really good CV builders and a great way to get your foot in the door of the GSA too. So practically speaking, they're very good as well. And feel free to contact me if you're interested in any of these committees. We'd love to have anybody who's interested in any of these get involved. Okay, so some upcoming events. First, we have the Graduate Student Resource Fair, which is really popular and I think really helpful to all our graduate students. That's upcoming on August 27th, and it'll be from 11 to 1, and that'll be in the campus center on the Uptown campus. That'll be announced relatively shortly, I believe. And that'll be just the opportunity. You'll have all different departments and resources throughout the whole campus come and table at that event, and it'll be a great way to go and just learn about all different parts of the university. We have a social mixer on September 5th from 5:30 to 6. We have a virtual town hall. We haven't figured out a date for that yet, but that should be upcoming probably in September. We have a movie night planned for October, and we also have a pine bush hike planned for November. So lots of different examples of some important, mostly social events, but the Graduate Student Resource Fair and the virtual town hall, some important events where you can go and learn more and let us know about issues that are important to you as well. And here's some different ways you can connect with us. We have a Facebook page. Twitter page, Instagram page, and LinkedIn page. Feel free to follow, like, all the different ways you can interact with those pages. And we have a website as well. I will warn that the current website is a little bit outdated. The information is up to date, but it just is a little bit old looking. We have a new website under construction and will be public sometime in September. So keep on the lookout for that new website. But if you're looking for more information, the current website should give you some good information for that. And that's all from me. So I want to open the floor up for anybody who has any questions about anything.
Thank you, Andrew. If anyone has questions, you can feel free to shout them out or use the chat. I see somebody's already using the chat. Fantastic. So the question is there information on the various committees where we could learn more about activities and possible involvement opportunities?
Yeah. So if you have any questions on any of the specific committees, feel free to reach out. So yeah, I guess I don't know how to, without knowing which committees you're interested in specifically, I can't really answer about all of them, but basically reach out to me.
Posted on the website, Andrew?
What's that?
Are like upcoming events posted on the website?
So the current website doesn't really have much up there. The new website will have some. Yeah, I would say, so the new website will have some. I look more to the listserv, which all graduate students should be getting, and our social media to get information about upcoming events.
Yeah, I will say that the emails are very helpful and informative. I was recently I recently finished my graduate program, and I still get the emails, and they're very informative and helpful.
Great.
Hi, this is Stacy. That was my question about the committees. I'm interested in a few different ones and
Okay.
was hoping to see more information about what they've got going on or what types of things they're working towards specifically so that I can narrow down which ones I might want to actually pursue.
Yeah. So I guess it's important for me to say that the committees generally are only active during the academic year. So the committees all sort of finished at the end of May when classes ended, and we're looking to just get each one of them started up again as we do every year. So right now the committees aren't really working on anything specific, but I can, if you want to just send me a list of which ones you're interested in, I'm happy to respond with some details about things that the committees have worked on in the past, what we might think they would work on the upcoming academic year, things like that.
Thank you.
Now, if a student wanted to connect with a particular committee, is there contact information for each, or?
Yes, that is not available on the website yet because there's not much information up there, but that will definitely be available on the new website. And once the new, right now, some of the committees aren't formed yet, like I said, so it'd be hard to get information because no one's monitoring the email addresses that are specific to the committees. But once that new website is rolled out, hopefully the committee has at least started, and you should get a response if you email any of those committees.
Great.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anyone? Okay. Andrew, do you want to provide some contact information was your contact information on previous slides in case anybody had particular questions for you?
Yeah. Let me see. So here's my email down here, just gsavp@albany.edu. Even if the question you have isn't specifically relevant to me, just feel free to shoot me an email and I can direct you to the right person. So yeah, any questions, comments, anything I can help with, feel free to let me know there.
Great. Thank you, Andrew, for presenting today, for sharing this information with us. And thank you everybody who was able to attend. I hope to see some of you at tomorrow's next virtual session, which we're going to talk about intercultural student engagement. And if you guys need recordings to this or any of the other sessions that we've held, please feel free to reach out to the Pi Center and we're happy to share those with you. Everyone have a wonderful day.